good evening. I'm L.A. Game. Welcome to The Big Solution, the show that discusses and exchanges views to inform and update the people. Today in The Big Solution, we'll discuss on should there be a reservation of job quota for the minorities and backward classes in the private sector. The Common Minimum Program of the UPA government has included this reservation for the minorities and backward classes. But till now, it has not been implemented. And today, this issue has become a national issue. We will discuss on pros and cons of this issue for the betterment of our country. In the panel, we have Mr. Tahir Qureshi from Delhi and Mr. Samson, a research scholar of JNU. We have two rounds in the big solution. First question is to Mr. Samson. Mr. Samson, why do you think that reservation of job quota for the minorities in private sector is needed in our country?
In the private sector, in the Indian society, is a must. Not I'm saying or any other researchers are saying, but it is a constitutional provision, even in the private sector, because in the initial stages, in government's interventions were there in private sectors. There were terms and conditions where the contract was entered to, and there was an agreement that certain quota needs to be implemented when there is this private sectors coming up. In fact, Indian economy, even from the beginning, is a mixed economy, so private sector and government sector is there. So private sector, even here, there should be reservation, and there has been reservation, but now multinational company is creating a problem. But even here, what the government is saying is correct, because in initial land allotment and so on and so forth, there were government hands, and there is an agreement, and that must be implemented.
Why do you stand in one point that a job quota for the minorities in the private sector is not feasible in our society, Mr. Tahir?
India is a multilateral society. There are more than one minorities, and moreover, this tussle between minorities and majority, it will gap between these two, and moreover, it should be qualification based, whatever job you are seeking. If there is supposed to be any reservation, it should only be in educational institutes, primary, that too primary, not in every other like IIT, IIT, or whatever it was going on. And moreover, this reservation thing will bring down the status, the level of the private sector. It is a world-class sector. If any XYZ goes just without any undeserving person goes, it will certainly bring a bad name to the country. That's my say.
So how do you rate on this opinion?
I don't think it will bring a bad name. In fact, bad name in India, there has been reservation in the private use. You talk about schools and others other than these multinational companies, which is of recent development. There has been reservation, but hardly any, only in the admission, yes, in admission there is a reservation. But when it comes to job after education, where is the quota for these deprived sections of society? Be it what you talk, there are different backward classes also with SC, ST, etc., etc. But the point is that in reservation is a necessity in Indian society, because Indian society is a caste society, and in caste society there is hardly any reservation for the backward lower caste. And in fact, if we are to say there is a government fulfillment or whatever reservation, that isn't Safai Karamsari, that has been there and from the pre-independent India, because caste, they cannot go pick up on a higher post in the Indian society. So it is there. So in multinational company also, since government hand is there, so there was an agreement. So why the multinational companies now they are crying like that? It is a government.
So don't you think that India is such a big country? Don't you think that it is there should be opportunities for the minorities also?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Give equal opportunity to everybody, not only the minorities or the backward classes, to everybody to pursue education so that they become qualified enough so go on their own in this private sector or any sector on their own without these crutches of reservation. Cut to 1990, the Mandal Commission agitation, who can forget? It divides the society. It is going to divide the society in people, and it is not going to do any good. Reserve the seats, okay, in education institutions, they're too primary. I stick to that point. And moreover, this person, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he is the first citizen of India, the president. I don't think he come through any reservation. If there is reserve the post of president for some person from any situation or like this.
But we are talking about the job quota in the private sector. But you are focusing on the other area of educational institution and all, right? What exactly?
That is the reason. If you are qualified enough, you can just walk in without any reservation.
So how can you say that without giving an opportunities for the minorities? How can you say that?
I belong to a minority committee. I'm a Muslim. I belong to the minority committee, but I'm against it because if I'm not deserving a post and I get it, it will be completely unjust.
What do you say?
If we talk of in higher posts like a president of India or prime minister of India, or for that matter any other higher post, there is definitely a reservation. When the prime minister is it is conventions. Prime minister is someone is a Muslim and someone is a Sikh or someone is a Christian, then there is definitely conventions. This one is taken into consideration. But education, even in education, reservation is there not because of anything. It is constitutional framers, they took into consideration the backwardness of what? Of education and economic. So when we survey these marginalized sections of India, they are far behind other higher castes of the Indian society.
So regarding his opinion, what do you say on that?
I'll say that if you recall this agitation, we take this 33% reservation for women in the Lok Sabha. But what follows it?
Yeah, the 3% reservation, that is women. Of course, women in Indian society also is ill-treated in a way. So it is good to have reservation for women also. There should be, within that reservation for women, there should be women, low caste, whatever you call, marginalized section, should also be there. I think it is a must in Indian society, as a caste society, so it is must, reservation has to continue, otherwise India will be nowhere. Someone will be staying, somewhere in apartments and these low castes who are constructing it, and they will remain the same throughout another 100 years. We are more than 50 years now, Indian independence. I don't know if you're heading for developed nation status. Then something government has to do, something concrete for this marginalized section of Indian society.
So at one word, Mr. Tahir, will you stand in your own point that there is?
Yes, I'll say abolish caste system, change the system which makes this sort of discrimination. I'll just say that. No reservation except for education, then you'll become qualified enough to demand for your job.
So, Mr. Sampson, at one...
I disagree completely, because reservation is a must, otherwise these people will remain more or less the same as they have been since a long time ago. And if government does something, then that should be something worthwhile being done for these marginalized sections of Indian society.
That's all we have in the big solution today. Keep watching. Same time, same channel.